Bet horse racing on DRF Bets. We'll match your first deposit of $200. Get free expert picks and past performances, plus weekly cash back. All from Daily Racing Form, the most trusted name in horse racing.
Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. A couple stakes races on tap at Gulfstream Park on Saturday, including race number 10. This is the Sunshine Sprint. Florida breds going 3/4 of a mile. Let's take a look at this field. The purse is $75,000. Field of 7 in here. Mike, Legends Can't Die is the tepid 3-1 morning line favorite. Faced a good field to open allowance horses most recently and finished second at a price.
Yeah, that was his dirt debut as well, Dan, and he did run pretty well in that race. Was able to make the lead that day, and then he dug in pretty gamely through the stretch. I wonder if he makes the lead in here.
Timeform US doesn't think so. We'll take a look at the pace projector right now, and Lightning Larry is a quick horse. Lightning Larry draws the rail, and I agree with Timeform US. I think Lightning Larry is going to get to the front with an alert break.
Yeah, there are several horses in here who could show speed, Dan. I think it's certainly possible that the one is just faster than everybody else in this field. We'll see if he can run one of his really good races in this spot, Dan. I don't know about you. His most recent start off of a very, very short layoff, I was pretty disappointed.
I thought it was okay. It certainly wasn't his best. Lightning Larry was good enough to win the Grade 3 Chick Lang against fellow 3-year-olds over the spring at Pimlico. Let's watch his most recent start, his final start at 3. This race, an open allowance, and the pace didn't seem to be very fast. He was up and on it, and he got a little bit tired late. Maybe they were using it as a prep for the step back up into stakes competition.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's, if you like him, I guess that's how you have to look at him, because I'm with you, Dad. I didn't think this pace was fast. He had no trouble getting control of the pace up the backstretch without a real challenge. And then when they finally did challenge him through the stretch, he was just no match. I don't know. I was disappointed in that performance, but we obviously know he's better than that. And I actually feel like he's a really good price on the morning line.
The horse that finished second in that race is in very good form as well. He came back to place in the Grade 3 Mr. Prospector with a 91 buyer. The number 2 is Gatsby. Luis Saez takes them out. And this horse tried to go a one-turn mile at Gulfstream 2-back and just was embroiled in a multi-horse pace battle while down on the inside and paid the price at a distance that's just probably a little bit too far for him. He bounced back, turning back to 7/8 of a mile in his most recent start at Tampa Bay, finishing a close third. Now, there wasn't a ton of pace on in this race for stakes horses to go 46 to the half. It's not like they were blazing. Gatsby's in behind horses and is going to just miss by a half length in finishing third.
Yeah, I agree with you. I thought he ran well here. The pace wasn't fast. That's his stablemate, the one who was on the lead there and allowed to make a relatively moderate pace. And I thought Gatsby tried really hard between horses through the stretch, but that race was not coming back for him. He has good tactical speed. I think he's going to be in a good trip in this race. And, I think it's pretty clear from his PPs, Dan. He shows up with his good performance. He's going to be tough in here.
His good performance last year, a 103 buyer speed figure in winning the Sunshine Sprint. He broke sharp that day, got right up close to the pace, and he looked good. If he comes anything close to that effort, he's going to win. The 3 is Unsociable. Here's Michael Maker off the claim, and we're used to Maker claiming horses moving him the turf. Here's Maker claiming Unsociable off of a Tapeta effort and trying dirt for the very first time. Why not? Unsociable has won 5 of 8, exclusively running on Tapeta surfaces. We see him on the outside here. He worked out a pretty nice stalking trip and is going to wear down the leader as the favorite. He's won 4 of his last 5.
He's in good form right now on a totally different surface. This is a nice win for him. He did get a really good trip in this race, though, and managed to get the job done. 90 buyer speed figure. I guess it puts him on the cusp, Dan. He's earned that figure in 2 of his last 3 starts. To me, I just kind of felt like he wasn't going to be a great price in here with Irad taking over and Maker claiming him. And I felt like he has to be better on dirt than he is on synthetic to win this race.
And Joel Rosario takes them out on our morning line favorite, the number 4, Legends Can't Die, who, as Mike mentioned, made his dirt debut in this start at Gulfstream, going 7/8 of a mile. This was a pretty strong field, and Legends Can't Die was able to make the lead early. He's going to eventually fend off his pace pursuer, Paco's Pico, and then Endorsed, who I think was snapping a 22 or 23 race winning streak, although he's running some very good races, runs him down late.
Yeah, Endorsed struggles to win races, but he's a consistent and he's a quality horse as well. So really no disgrace in getting run down by him. But again, I just wonder if Legends Can't Die is going to be able to get a similar kind of trip in this race, right up towards the pace, which feels like that's his best running style. Dan, I don't know. He ran fine in that race. I don't think I would take him as the favorite in here, but maybe he won't be the favorite.
Legal Deal is up next. Paco Lopez takes the mount. This was just missed last time out. The very wide trip at Gulfstream back in the middle of November. This was a $32,000 starter allowance going 5.5. And you see Legal Deal, who was chasing outside, sort of get floated all the way out into the 4 or 5 path in the stretch. A little bit late to change leads. Once he does, he comes with a run and he gets beaten by the favorite, a sharp horse, the Detractor, who would come back to win.
Yeah, I guess he runs fine in here. He's another horse who can be closer to the pace than he was in that most recent start, Dan. So maybe they'll get a little more aggressive with him here. I struggled with him in here because I feel like he might be a couple of some of the other horses that we've already talked about. And even when he was in good form, sort of last winter, I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan of his.
Boca Boy returns to South Florida, and he's had success over the Gulfstream surface in the past. He's been sort of picking up checks in his recent races in the Midwest, whether it be at Horseshoe Indianapolis or this spot at Hawthorne Park in a high-level allowance going 6.5 furlongs. We see Boca Boy turn into the long stretch at Hawthorne, and he's got a little bit of a look at this, Mike, but it's just one pace down to the wire. I view Hawthorne races with extreme skepticism usually.
I do too. Just overall, I kind of felt like this horse was a little bit tough to like. He wants to be part of the pace. I feel like this pace could be fast and that would work against him. And I, realize that this isn't, it's not like a graded stakes race or anything, but the last 3 times they've run this horse against stakes competition, he's just gotten absolutely buried at big prices.
I think you can make a case for the number 7 Cajun's Magic at a big price. I just think he's completely dirtied up. He was a very promising 2-year-old in South Florida. And then they tried the Derby Prep Series with him, the Holy Bowl and the Florida Derby. And all in all, he got embarrassed in those races. And then they tried him sprinting, and he just happened to catch a very hot horse in Willie Boy, who came back to win the Grade 3 Smile Sprint with a 92, and then was 3rd in Saratoga's Vanderbilt. I like that they gave him a respite after that race. He could be coming back in peak maturity as a new 4-year-old, and he ran some races at 2 that were very promising.
Yeah, I think we look at him the exact same way. Now, I think all those things that you just mentioned are true, Dan. I also really prefer him as a sprinter as opposed to the longer races that they tried to get him to run in. I guess the big question with him here is the layoff. He hasn't been seen since the end of May. This is a very long layoff to come back in. So we'll see if he can, run his good race off the layoff. But if he does, I think he could win this race.
Top pick time for the Sunshine Sprint. You can go several different ways in here, Mike. Gatsby won this race last year, looked so good doing it, has more speed than I think he showed in his last race. And even though he is cutting back a little bit to 3/4 of a mile, he is very pace adaptable.
That's what I thought. I just ultimately trusted him more too, Dan, than some of the other horses in here, including the 7 that we just talked about, Cajun's Magic, who I put second. I think he's going to run well in here. I just trusted Gatsby a little bit more.
While Legends Can't Die will not likely get the lead as he did in his most recent race, he did win on turf from off the pace in his career debut. And I just think the field he was in against last time out was stronger than this one. Like you, I don't want to take too short of a price in what should be a fairly wide open race. 2714 for Mike, 4352 for me. It's the Sunshine Sprint at Gulfstream Park on Saturday.